G'day guys. Thanks for joining me today. I am creating a 12 by 12 layout and this is a power scrap. What is a power scrap? If you're new to my channel, what I do is I love creating busy, simple but busy pages. So every so often I decide, right, I'm just going to do a power scrap. I'm going to grab, in this case, a 6 by 6 paper pad, and I'm just going to do something with it. And whatever decision I make there and then, I just make the decision quickly, get it on paper, and go from there. So, what am I using? I actually grabbed this paper pad. Actually, my daughter bought it for me. I'll correct myself. My daughter bought it for me for my birthday. It's from KMART here in Australia. So it's actually quite a thin paper. It's not a cut. It's not cardstock at all. Does it have the GSM on it? No, it doesn't. But it's a paper stack. It's a mini. They call it a baby mini paper stack. That's what they call it. And I decided I just pulled out some papers that I like the look of. Do they all work? No, one of them doesn't. Stick around and you'll figure out which one doesn't. I'm a bit disappointed because it was actually my favourite one out of all of them. So what I decided to do, my blade's a bit blunt. Such a Scrooge sometimes. I detest changing blades on a cutter. Is anyone else like that? Let me know down below if you're like that. I absolutely hate it because to me it's essential for my craft, but it's one of the things that you don't get bang for buck with. Like you sort of, I mean, you do because obviously you get a really good cut, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I hate doing it. So what I did is I just cut my 6 by 6 squares and I just cut them in half and then in half again. That's all I did. I've done nothing else to them. Now, my page, if you're wondering why these are overlapping, right? It's because my page is only 11.5 inches by 12. So that's where I have the problem. Well, it actually works out to be a good thing. So what I'm doing here is getting frustrated because my raindrops are going all the wrong way. So it's a power scrap. Make the decision, get rid of it, try again. So all I've done, you can see how I've gone. I'm going in a anti-clockwise direction, and I'm basically just putting the triangles down and seeing what looks good. Honestly, that's all I did. So I had to get another non-directional paper because it does my head in. I really love those raindrops, and I like the little touch of silver. The metallic silver is beautiful, but it just wasn't working on this page. That's okay. It's all right. It's a power scrap. So guess what? We're going to just move on. And what I ended up getting was this one's a squiggle. So if I put them in the right direction, it looks fine. All the squiggles are going the same way, so it looks good. So what you can see there, now I'm just having a quick look to see, now do I want to cut these down at all? Nah, it's a power scrap. Let's just make the decision quickly. I was considering at this point what was going to be the next step. And once I sort of sat back and looked at it, it looks very much like quilting. I have never quilted in my life, but paper craft is my chosen craft. Scrapbooking is my main craft. I dabble a little bit with what do you call it? I can't even think what it's called now. Art journaling. I do sometimes. I sort of go, but I don't think that No, I'm going to stop myself. Why? Because we put ourselves down too much. I resisted making this channel and creating these videos because I didn't think anyone would be interested in watching what I do. And I have to stop myself now because so many of you, 630 plus of you, have come on board and you love what I do. So I'm going to keep doing it for as long as you guys want to see it. I'm going to keep doing it. This to me now is, it's fun. I absolutely love every single day in my craft room. I am very lucky to be in a position where my husband works full time. So this I've taken on board to be my full-time job. So I have started the Facebook group up. So if you want to click the link in the description and it'll take you to the Facebook group. I do have a couple of questions on there because it kind of made me put them there, but super simple. Basically, all that does is just gives me notification that someone wants to come on board. So, yeah. So, I plan on, once I get my flow going with the YouTube and the Facebook working together, once I get that going, I might even start doing some little things. I've got a few things in mind, but we'll see. So I am currently just, if you have a look, I'm not putting a lot of glue. It's art glitter glue, so you don't need it. This is just paper, so you don't need lots. However, I tried to lift that up there, but I couldn't. And then I realized, you know what, photos go over it anyway. Yes, I do have a post-it note over my child because she was quite jaundiced in these photos, and I went over to my mum and dad's and I put her out in the sun, it wasn't hot sun or anything like that, just to get rid of the yellow jaundice. So for viewer discretion, obviously, protecting my children, I have put a cloud over what you may or may not see. So yeah, I remove that later when you can't see it, because I'm overlapping the photos anyway, because who wants that in their photo album? I'm sure when she's 21 she won't want it in the photo album. So okay, so I then made the quick decision. I need to back these photos so they can stand off. See where it's with the white and the pink? So it sort of pops off the page a bit. Now, my children are all girls. So as you can see here, I use purple, I use blue. The blue is more of a mauvey blue. It's not really blue. So here's where I didn't film this because my camera is above my head and my sewing machine is behind me. So I quite often like to hand sew or machine stitch on my layouts. And when I sat back, as I said before, it kind of reminded me of a bit of patchwork. So a bit of a patchwork quilt, something like that. So I went ahead and zigzag stitched through most of the triangles. You can see the pattern basically on the back. That's where I used white thread. I like to use white thread. Sometimes I use black, but I'm not one that changes out my colors and does, one row in one color. I wear glasses and I can tell you some days I go cross-eyed trying to thread a needle on a sewing machine. Anyone else? You hear me? You hear what I'm saying? Okay, so while I'm doing this, I have come up with a couple of cracker things that I saw on YouTube, and I'm going to create I've got like 2 pages in my head that I just want to get done because they're stuck in my head. I do this. All right. So while we're just fiddling around, I'm going to let you know. Sorry, that click was just my drink, my coffee. Okay, so let you know a little bit about me. I have been a scrap on and off scrapbooker for 20 years. Obviously when I had my young babies, it was very difficult to scrap. I like to have a space where I can scrap, get up, walk away, come back, look at it, and it's not in everyone's face. So I have my own craft room. I'm extremely lucky. I have it all set up. My wonderful husband has set up the brightest lighting. It probably distorts the color of the photos a little bit, but there you go. See? Rip that off and you didn't even see anything. Perfect. So I have a good setup. I love I am absolutely 100%. I am loving creating these videos and getting to know my subscribers. It is really doing so much for my mental health. I do suffer with anxiety and depression. And I will let you know, I have a couple of medical conditions, fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis. And I have, in the past few years, it's been extremely challenging. But I'm to a point now where creating this channel was the best thing that I have done for myself and my mental health in the past 5 to 6 years. I encourage you, I encourage all of you, it does not matter if you think your work is not good enough. If you can't scrapbook like me. Nobody scrapbooks like me. I scrapbook like me because that's my style. You have your style. You may be brand spanking new to the scrapbooking world, and you might subscribe to a particular brand like Creative Memories or Stampin' Up, something along those lines. You may be like me and you get a little bit here and a little bit there, and you make up your own kit, so to speak. That is each of us finding our own style. My style has changed so much. If you guys could see what my original albums looked like, it's I wouldn't say it's totally different to what I do now, but there's kind of that before I got a Cricut and after I got a Cricut. That was a game changer for me. Having the ability to buy cut files, download cut files, learn to create cut files, all of those things have made such a difference to my scrapbooking. Years ago, I never did any sewing on pages. Sewing machines for sewing clothes. Like, I didn't even think about stepping to the side and going, hang on, I could sew that. Now, I never would have thought of this before. But while I was at my worst and I could barely move, I got extremely depressed because I couldn't use my hands. My hands would not, I had no feeling in them. The pain in every single joint that I had in my hands. Still now, I still get the pain, but it's not as bad. It's a lot more controlled. And I make no apologies for the fact that I have had to take, I have injections weekly and multiple injections weekly, and it has given me my ability to craft back. And during COVID, I realized for my mental health, for my family, for my friends who have stuck by me while I was at my worst. Like, I was really bad. And sorry, I'm obviously reading a text message there. So to be honest, I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to scrapbook again. And I had this room was sort of, I didn't even come in my craft room. Now this might blow you away a little bit. I did not enter this craft room at all. Like, did not come in here. The door was closed. I opened it, vacuumed the floor, walked out. That was it. And I didn't come in this room for a good 12 to 18 months because it depressed me even more because I wanted to create and I couldn't. So just letting you know, like, we all have our struggles. We all need each other. We need to lift each other up. And if I can do that for you, I will do it forever. I really will. This is not a short-term thing for me. This is something that I love sharing. I love teaching. I love learning. And now my hands work. It's dead set. It's the best. So I'm just doing a squiggly border around here. The stickers that I used were my Creative Memories ABC123 Platinum Classy stickers. I don't know if they still have them. These are stickers I've had in my stash since 2005, 2004. So what else? And the pen I'm using is the Creative Memories metallic fine tip pen, and I'm using it in silver. And yeah. So then I go ahead and I do my journaling just there where I pointed, and this is it. So now you've heard me waffle. Here's the close-up. I would love you to pop over to my Facebook and my Instagram. Still working on Instagram, but my Facebook is up to date all the time now, and I love the stitching. It just looks so cool. So I absolutely love it. I would love, love, love you to leave me a like. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, because I post videos pretty much every day. So some are quick, some are short, and yeah. So thanks very much for listening and watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.